teeth sunk into what was going on out here, things happened pretty fast. And as soon as I met the Stakes, everything changed. So
as soon as you met the Stakes?
Yeah, the band I'm in right now. I think meeting them basically set me on the path that brought me here today, honestly, like right here in this chair, because I made a friend and that friend had a friend and those friends asked us to come over and jam with them. And we walked into the door, and as soon as the music started, we knew something happened. And that was, 4 years ago or 5 years ago? I'm terrible with time, so forgive me in advance.
You know what? It all starts to blend together after a while.
It always does. And just having that live musical outlet inspired me in ways I hadn't been inspired before. And I was able to really, show what I could do and have people really appreciate it in a way that they hadn't before. And that did a lot for me. And then it also, gave me outlets to tap into other parts of the art world, which was always a passion for me. Being asked to do, Maddie asked me to do a song for his documentary as well as being his documentary, because
that was You Racist Sexist Bigot?
Yes, You Racist Sexist Bigot, because he liked my work. And as we met and talked, he liked me as a person. So, the Stakes introduced me to a lot of people, and it's changed my life. So,
well, and we're talking briefly off mic. I would like to have you back to talk about your music, because I'm curious. I haven't had representatives of the Phoenix hip hop scene, so I would love to pick your brain about that.
Be back here for that then.
Fantastic.
As a outsider who became an insider, it's it's different. I mean, people that have been here their whole lives will tell you a whole different kind of story.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
that kind of goes for anywhere. Though, right? Yeah. If you grow up one place, you have a certain perspective, and then when you come into one,
yeah. And the hip hop scene here was really tricky, but
I've heard a lot more about it within the last few years, though.
It's changed a lot in the last few years, and I would hope we had something to do with that, because things picked up speed rapidly, and I think it's because people started working together more. And there were a lot more venues for a minute, and now there are a lot less, and that's impacted everything.
Some of them kind of have consolidated. I know, but at least on the, there are also some venues that hadn't been there, or that like Valley Bar and Van Buren and some things like that.
Like that's been great for us as a band.
Yeah,
and some of the smaller acts, have had to consolidate more, work together more to be able to do what they do, because you can't just. There's not 5 different places you can run around and do.
So do you just do those bands maybe do bigger bills or larger to kind of be able to draw in the crowd to play some slightly larger venues? I
think they stick to the venues that make space for them more than anything. So a lot of young hip hop artists I know, which do Tempe Tavern, for instance.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's a long time outlet where when there's nowhere else to go, you can go there. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And the mid-sized venues and stuff, it's a little harder to get into. So they have to be working together to bring in more people to be able to get that show now, which I think helps overall, because you can get more people in the door with 5 groups than with 1 group. So
absolutely, I think this leads into the same sort of environment that can now have something like the Indie Film Fest.
Right.
Has also contributed to some of the demise of some of the more independent venues and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've lived here since I was 10, so 25 plus years. Yeah. There's a lot of the art scene that wasn't there when I was a kid or even a teenager, and that sort of thing. And what came up out of the whole Roosevelt Row thing and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched it kind of go into this pretty cool independent art scene, and now it's being all bought up and corporatized and all of that, and all these kind of cool little independent venues that, you know, whether they were mom and pop shops or galleries or venues are just all being bought up and turned into the fucking high rises.
And it changed so fast is the crazy part. Like, you know, you did that gentrification. Like, it's a thief in the night, man, because, you know, we went from doing whatever we wanted out there until you can't even park here. Like, and you can't afford to be here doing this now anyway, because it's a different thing. Yeah. So that's the tough part, because you feel like you helped build it and then you lost your place in it, which, you know, which is to me why it's critical to have stuff like this, because it's focused on giving space to people that don't really have it any other way.
Well, and now, so for the longest time, there was only that. I mean, at least that was in sort of my, you know, sphere of knowledge, I guess, was like the Scottsdale Film Festival. Yeah. Which is, it was never anything that I was super interested in, because it didn't feel like they were showing a lot of things that I would be interested in, like actually film festival type stuff. Right. And then I saw it wasn't that long ago. Wasn't there also a film festival out in Peoria?
I don't know. I know there's a Chandler Film Festival.
Maybe there was something like. But I was really excited when I saw this happening. Yeah. And also, I have been maybe, you know, I still do booking and outreach to get guests on the show pretty haphazardly most of the time. So it might just not have been the right channels, but I've been trying to get in touch with Mango Skies since I heard about You Racist Sexist Bigot coming out, because I was like, this is really fucking cool stuff that's happening. Yeah. And it just seemed like there was suddenly this independent film presence that I didn't ever see Phoenix being known for. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, can you tell me a little bit about your involvement in that project and how, and sort of the role you played in that and what you contributed to? Well,
I feel very, very fortunate, first of all. Like, I feel like Matty Steinkamp's an amazing guy. He's amazing because I feel like he makes himself a vessel. And I talked about this at one of the fundraising events for You Racist Sexist Bigot, and I basically was saying that, you know, Matty's spirit brought us all together. Like, he wanted to make a difference first, number one, and then he said, how can I make a difference? And he said, you know, how can I use my passion to make a difference? And he made this film, and, you know, and he made this film using real people, you know, telling real stories that they hope will make a difference. And he was a vessel, you know, for change, and he created an opportunity for other people to try to do the same thing by making this film. And him doing that had a ripple effect. And working with him on the film, we always enjoy working together. And from there, you know, I was pursuing an associate's degree at South Mountain Community College. I had been a musician for a long time, and I was looking for new opportunities and new avenues to go down and express myself and learn, and just, you know, I was ready for change, basically, and I wanted to learn something new and be able to do new things. And I reached out to Matty, and he said, you know, I could use help. You know, I'm trying to expand on what I'm doing, and I would love to work with you. And I worked with him as a production assistant first on some of his shoots, and it went extremely well, and we, you know, complimented each other well. And, I always tried to be an asset because he was always teaching, which I feel is valuable. And he felt like I could do more. He felt like I could help, learn. I could learn the art of editing. I could, create, even though I didn't necessarily even see that as a possibility at first. But he's a believer and he's a visionary, and which is why, I'm so attracted to working with him, because it's infectious. And he basically, I was around when he was conceiving of this idea, and he's a firm believer in, if you build it, they will come.
The old, Field of Dreams.
Firm mantra, yeah. And somebody was inspired by that thought for a reason, because it's proven itself. And he felt like, I know what's not here, and there's a need, and I feel like if I build it, people will come to it. And he's all about idea and execution. So he said,
it's a key combination.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are about the ideas, and not so much knowing how to execute.
I've been guilty, and I can admit that. And watching him do this piece by piece, and him, allowing me to be part of this team and learn, even though I don't have a tremendous amount of experience. And, even like he told me at some point in the past, he never knew he'd be doing what he was doing right now. And he was like, you're no different, but I see every bit of the same level of talent in you, which, is as inspired as you can get from another person. So being allowed to be a part of this team, I'm privileged, because I'm learning every day. I'm a rookie, but I'm a dedicated rookie.
It just seems, I've never met Matty. Somebody, first of all, I love that somebody goes by Matty. Yeah, and he just seems to have this very infectious kind of energy, and I would imagine that it's just a very cool presence to kind of work with.
Matty's a magical dude, man. I tell him, I said, dude, I don't know if other people know what they're dealing with when they deal with you, but you're magic, dude. Like he's dedicated, he's passionate, he's highly intelligent, he's scary smart. Like, and I'm glad to be on the team and able to represent this community idea that he's came up with to bring value and to bring a focus to Phoenix, and for lack of a better term, try to put Arizona on the map in a special way. Yeah.
I just wanted to make another comment real quick, just as far as, the fact that was what you were pursuing academically, were you going to school for music, or were you going to school for film, or what were you going for?
So I was in the music business program, which they had recently came up with in the Maricopa Community College group of schools. And, I was just looking for possibilities, because I'm from a place with like low possibility and low opportunity. And so in my background, it's coming from that background. Sometimes it was hard for me to see possibilities in some ways and know what opportunities existed, especially because I didn't have mentors. I didn't have a large network.
Sure.
So, you trying to go from, survival to thriving in some situations. And I was just trying to learn, how I can thrive in a new way. And he opened the door for that by allowing me, to work with him. So I want to make sure I'm answering your question.
Well, no, I didn't really ask a question. I just think it's cool. I as somebody who I don't. I went to school for creative writing. Yeah. I got an English degree, and I got a English major and a sociology minor. I didn't go to school for anything that was going to give me any practical application once I was done. Yeah. Everything, from teaching myself how to play guitar to doing podcasting and publishing and all that kind of thing. I just as long as you do have a passion for something and a dedication and work ethic, you can figure shit out as you go. And the fact that there's